Good morning. Today I live in India at the moment and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, January 2012. In Europe, I'm Austrian, that's why I'm mentioning it. In Europe now it's 4.5 hours earlier. Well, I would like to talk about health. A sound mind in a sound body. A healthy mind in a healthy body. Why? I've been a teacher all my life. I'm 70 now. And when I was 30, I had problems about the meaning of life. I thought to myself, good Lord, I'm getting older and older, very slowly indeed, and I have always to confront young, energetic people. What do I have to do about it? To be healthy in mind and body. And so I really decided, I want to concentrate on health and mind. But mind, you know, is something very interesting. We have two parts of the brain. The left part of the brain is intellect, and the right part of the brain is feeling. In traditional cultures, they had a word, and they followed it, heart-mind. So we cannot separate the heart and the mind. Descartes, je pense donc je suis, I think, therefore I am, to my mind was totally wrong, and his influence, he died I think 1650, his influence has been very, very bad on the Western world, and because the Western world has had influence on other countries and cultures, has been very bad altogether. Now, in Chinese there's a saying, there is a vein from the heart to the brain. So they connect the brain, the mind and the heart. All traditional cultures have known it and knew it. Now, in ancient Egypt, they said think and thank go together. It took me 10 years to find out why think and thank go together. And then I found out why, because we think with the heart. Now, in ancient Egypt, they were saying to think with the eye of the heart. In Chinese, to examine with the heart. In Sanskrit, to perceive with feeling. In Hebrew, Israel, and in Greek, they call it to think holistically, to think in oneness. So when we forget the heart, we cannot be healthy. That's very, very interesting. The word meaning of life, for example, in Indonesia, means to love and to share. When I share, I get energy, I will be happy, and this happiness has an influence on my brain, an influence on my genes. Meaning in life in Chinese is also very interesting. It means the sun, heaven, the divine. It means the heart, love and compassion, and to stand, to be well connected with earth. And in our language, English, German and so on, meaning of life means the path, the way. I have to go forward. I cannot stop. I have to change. It's interesting to note that in two languages, in Farsi, in Persian language, and in Hindi, Sikh means be Ma. Ma is the serpent, Asclepius serpent of European pharmacists and other countries. And it means without serpent. Why? Because a serpent is a symbol of transformation. If I do not change, I will be sick. I'm now 70 and something. I was born last year, April 2011, and I think I'm fit. So I gave a talk. I go around Asia giving talks. I gave a talk on the following topic here in Auroville, India. The topic was, I'm 70 and I'm still enthusiastic and I'm wondering about the mysteries of life. Back to health. In German the word health means gesund, and sund is sound. Before I mention a sound mind in a sound body. So when I'm in harmony with the cosmic sound, I will be healthy and I must be healthy. But no one of us, because we're not perfect, no one of us can be totally healthy because we need suffering in order to change. In my age of 70, I've experienced it. And Oscar Wilde knows where there is suffering, there is holy ground. Dostoevsky knows it. Suffering is the sole origin of consciousness. And Joseph Campbell, the father of mythology, knows it. He says, we have to go down into the abyss where our treasures are in order to change ourselves. Back to health and being healthy. Now, dis-ease, unhealthy, means separated from health. In Sanskrit, very interesting, healthy means to be within yourself. That's your center. And in Hara, in Japan, Hara means your center. When I'm away from my center, I cannot be healthy. Every one of us goes to medical doctors, don't we? Now the word medical and the middle are related words. Again, going to my center in the middle. And medical doctor and mederi means to give a piece of advice. You know, in ancient China, the doctors came to the patients before they were sick, so they gave pieces of advice. What do you eat? What do you think? Very important. What do you feel? Your dreams and. So, visiting someone, talking with him before he or she got sick. Now in Arabic, I lived in Arabic countries for in Islamic countries for 9 years, Egypt 7 years as a teacher, and Istanbul 2 years. In Arabic, the medical doctor is Al-Hakim, and Al-Haq means truth. So, the doctor has to show me truth, the path of truth. And in Ayurvedic medicine, I only get sick when I'm ignorant. Now, ignorance, in Greek, the Greek word nous means the divine. I'm separated from the divine. Interesting? Now, I have to tell you a little bit about myself, because when I see a talk by someone or I read a book, I want to know the person. I want to know a little bit what this person thinks, what he feels, how he lives. So I will give it a chance, if you think it's a chance, to listen to what I say and then to see where I live here in Auroville. I was born in Austria, 1941, studied English and history, Innsbruck University, and then in London, English, King's College, Language and Literature, and University College with Professor Gimson. I studied phonetics in the phonetics department. I returned to Austria, taught in Austria for 2 years, and then I went to Istanbul, to an Austrian school for 2 years, back to Austria, then to Cairo, Egypt for 7 years. I love Egypt, I love Istanbul very much. I love Islamic culture. I go around our planet giving talks to 13 different countries. But in the last 7 years, I've given talks in 7 Asian countries: China, India, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Laos. And the topics are unity and peace, health and mind, the fascination of words, in all humility said, Chinese, Sanskrit, Polish, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and so on. I don't know these languages. I know English, French, and German, but I'm very interested in languages. So I make interviews, I check books, I check the internet, and slowly I find out more and more. Now I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book on all world cultures, again in all humility, a very simple book for young people, teenagers from 16 to quotation mark 97. Back to Auroville. It's an extraordinary township in Tamil Nadu, south of India, where I've been living off and on for 7 years. The last 4 years in this small apartment here. It was founded by the mother from Paris, an extraordinary lady with deep insight, and she worked together near Auroville, 80 kilometers away, is a formerly French part, Pondicherry, with 3 Aurobindo. He lived at the time of Gandhi, and a freedom fighter and a saint and a sage who wrote extraordinary books. Now, about health, something about myself. For the last 9 days, I have not eaten anything, but perhaps you can see I'm not very tired, I'm aware. Why have I fasted? I think fasting is very important to make sacrifices. The word sacrifice in Latin, saza in fazere, means to make something holy, to sacrifice our egos. My ego is quite strong, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who has a strong ego. And so I started 9 days ago. On the first day, only water. On the second day, I had fruit juice, honey, and Ayurveda paste. Ayurveda paste is something very healthy. I take regularly every morning and evening. So it's not 100% pure fasting, but it's still fasting. The second day was very difficult for me. But then I said I will go on and on and on, and today I will stop. I could go on 1 more day, 2 more days, but I lost 5 kilos. Now I have 55 kilos, so not many. I'm not very fat, as you see, and that is okay for me. And I needed only 4 to 5 hours sleep this time, and I got up throughout these 9 days between 9 and 4:30. And I started work, and within 3 days I wrote 28 pages for my book, so I was very happy. I'd also started doing this fast because I realized I tend to take sweets. I know they're not very healthy. I don't eat meat, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't watch television to be concentrated. And something happened. I tell you why I changed. It was 3:30 in the morning. I was on my computer writing for my book. I wrote for 40 minutes, and suddenly everything was gone. And I realized I had not saved it. I was shocked because I think each incident is something to tell me. I can learn something. I meet a person, a nice person, I learn from this nice person. I meet a person who's a little complicated, impolite. I learn from him not to be impolite. So what was this message for me? It told me change. And you know, change is very difficult. Very, very difficult, because we don't want to change, because life and death are one, but death is the total stranger in our life. I don't want to die, you don't want to die most probably, and this means change, so we reject it. So I said, now I want to change. I went up and down in this small room here, and then I decided I have to be stronger within, more discipline. Discipline in Tibetan means appropriate and just. And the word disciple and discipline are one word. And I decided to fast for 3 days, and if I can manage for 9 days. And I'm happy I've managed. Only once in my life, 2 years ago, I managed 11 days, and 4 years ago, 8 days. But the average was only 2 days. But I'm happy I've managed. Now, Auroville to me is so fascinating because many are spiritual. The word spirit means spirare, breath, the breath of life. Pneuma in Greek, ruach in Arabic, ruach in Hebrew, in all languages you have this important word. Why is spirit so important? If I don't breathe properly enough, I'm hindered. I can't develop totally as a human being. Now, being a teacher, I tell you what I've taught my students. I'm in the classroom and I see a girl is yawning, she's tired. I tell her, look, breathe in properly. She tried it and I said, you know what happened? You have taken in all the breath. The boys have exhaled. You have taken in, isn't it marvelous? You get the energy of the boys. And you know you get peace. And she asked, why do I get peace? And I told her, look, in Chinese, male and female energy means peace. Isn't it fascinating? male and female energy is peace. And now please go to a boy, take his hand, close your eyes together with him. For 20 seconds you get peace. Okay, she does it, and then I suggested everyone will make a circle, boy, girl, I will participate, and we'll get peace. And we got peace, and after 1 or 2 minutes we opened our eyes, and we got back to work with total concentration. Krishnamurti, perhaps you know Jiddu Krishnamurti. I went to Brockwood Park, Winchester, in London, England several times to visit him. He wrote the most brilliant book about education, the significance of life. And he said, okay, when my students are tired, I tell them, let's go to the window and watch nature, the trees moving, the leaves moving. Be one with the tree for 2 or 3 minutes. And when you're one with the tree, you're happy, you live in the present. And then I told them, come back, and I will come back to our work with total concentration. Fascinating? You know, when we are one with other human beings, we feel happy, really happy. I have 3 religions. It's possible, certainly possible. I'm a Christian, I was born a Christian. I'm a Buddhist, I love Buddha. And I'm a Baha'i. Baha'i is not so much known. It's a religion of unity from Iran, founded in 1862. The unity of all prophets, the unity of all religions, the unity of humankind. Humankind means kindred, related, language knows. And we should be kind to each other. So, humankind is one. All language know about it. In China, all under heaven, one family. In Arabic, Tawheed, God is one, humankind is one. In Sanskrit, Vasudeva Kundupakam, this world is one family. In Shinto, Japan, this world is one nest. And in Christianity, Jesus says, you are all one in Jesus. Interesting? Oneness of human beings, of nature. I have a very good American elderly lady, a brilliant teacher. She told me the following one day. She founded a school, Wilhelmskole, in Texas. And she said, Edwin, do you know what you see when you look into the eyes of your best friend? I said, no. And she said, you see yourself because the pupil is a mirror. It was extraordinary because my parents had not told me, my teachers had not told me. When I go around Asia giving talks and I ask either teachers or students in colleges, high schools or universities, they don't know. Hardly anyone knows. It's so important. The other one is myself. Why? Because in our cosmos, in our universe, there's no separation. It's fascinating. Experiment 1980s in France. They took twin electrons, and sent them millions of kilometers apart. One began to dance, and the other one also began to dance. Why? Because there's no time, there's no space. That's why in Chinese, space means, cosmos means space-time. In Greek, very interesting, cosmos means order, beauty, jewel. And in Arabic, I've forgotten, but universe, in Latin, universe means one song. Isn't it beautiful? One song. Everything surrounding us is song and beauty. University, very interesting, in Sanskrit, the house of the knowledge of the universe. But where do we learn about the universe? Nowhere really. In Sanskrit, there's no word for to teach. Fascinating. Only to help someone to rise in consciousness. And the greatest teachers on our planet were Socrates and Confucius. Confucius from China, Socrates from Greece, and both maintained and said, I'm not a teacher, I'm a midwife, to help to give birth to the divine child within to come out, and the divine light. Now coming into the present moment, I would like to tell you how I live in connection with health also. I go to bed rather early. I try to eat early between 6 and 7 if possible. I go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30. I get up between, the earliest is 3:30 and 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then I drink 3 glasses of water. It's very healthy to drink warm water. I only drink water usually. No tea, nothing apart from fruit juices. So 3 glasses of warm water. Then I do a 1 hour meditation, but only 1 hour for the last October, November, December, January months, since I did an extraordinary course, perhaps the best course in my life, Vipassana course. Vipassana course, now they're all around our planet, going back to Buddha, lost in India, brought back from Myanmar in the 1960s by an Indian. Now and after this 1 hour, before, for decades, I did between 10 and 15 minutes meditation. Not enough, now I know. And then on my bed, I do a few exercises. I will show you these exercises. And then I get up, I drink 1 more glass and eat this paste I've mentioned before. And then I do on a mattress, on the balcony, on the terrace, I do some exercises, and afterwards I do also something extraordinary. I have a trampoline in Austria and in India, because to me it's a 1 million trampoline, because it's my health. When I was a little younger, I loved jogging and running and skiing and riding and swimming and so on. But now I prefer jumping on this trampoline, now for only 10 minutes. Before I did 20 minutes, then I developed a slight problem in my knees, and I found out 10 minutes is okay. Very gently jumping, and according to those who invented the trampoline, they say if I jump for 10 minutes, it's as if I was jogging for 30 minutes. So it's 1, 2, 3. But when you start, you have to go gently, to do it gently. Well, and then I have breakfast, usually 1 papaya and some nuts. And then at 11 o'clock I eat other nuts. And then I go to my friend, he's an Ayurvedic doctor. He has an excellent food, he's an excellent doctor. One of the best I can imagine. And there we get 4 vegetables and soup. And in 1 vegetable they have potatoes, but no rice. He thinks that the Indians eat by far too much rice. And this time I prepare my books. Before I taught a little bit here in Auroville in 2 places, English. I've taught English across the planet in a different way, holistically. The word holistic means healthy and holy. It is interdisciplinary, it is interlinguistically, it is interreligiously, and one more, I forget now, doesn't matter. And I've taught English according to world cultures. Chinese culture, Indian culture, Western culture, and Islamic culture. It's fascinating. It's fascinating for me. I have to prepare a lot with many books in Austria, 6,000 to 7,000 books. So let's take China, 250 books about China. I've read almost all of them. I have a very bad memory, but I'm very disciplined. So I repeat. When I jump on my trampoline for 10 minutes, I repeat every single day. And I include culture. It's fascinating for the young people. They like it. It takes them 6 weeks, if I get them new, to get accustomed to me, because it's jumping from one subject to the next. And English grammar I've taught in a different way. I use culture to teach English grammar. I'll give you an example. There's a Persian poet. I use one of his poems to teach the adverb to beginners in Austria. Beginners, actually, they are from 10 on. In high school they learn a very little bit in elementary school, and so the adverb in Austria is taught in the 3rd year. I teach them the adverb in the 1st year. I teach four tenses within 3 or 4 months, using the Egyptian Book of the Dead on 1 piece of paper, which is also fascinating for me and for the young children, because they have brothers They learn the present perfect in the third year, and they already after 3-4 months they've learned it. And so it's very good for their self-esteem. It raises their self-esteem. So, Omar Khayyam, Persian poet, adverb. Beautifully, ly is an adverb. I'm a mirror, and whoever speaks of me, nicely or badly, he always speaks about himself. Or Bhagavad Gita, when a man has no lust and no hatred, he walks safely among the things of lust and hatred. Or present perfect, Buddha. The Buddha says, monks, there never has been a human being who has not formerly been your father and your mother, your brother and your sister, and so on. Now, Omar Khayyam, I tell them a little bit about Persian culture in German, in my mother tongue. They have the adverb, high self-esteem. They have new vocabulary, which are not in the official textbook. And they go to their friends, to their parents, to show them, and to have to learn all things in connection with culture, they have to learn by heart. So at the end of the school year, they know many quotations, and I ask regularly, each lesson I ask them the things by heart in order to make a lesson more interesting. We do African dance, we do meditation, we listen to music from all world cultures. I do acupressure with them, I show you afterwards, I do it regularly every day, and that's it. I thank you so far for listening, and now I will show you first where I live here, my room and my area, so you get to know me a little bit. Why? There is a very interesting quotation in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and they say exactly what I feel. I'm quoting, you are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire, so is your will. As your will, so is your deed. As your deed, so is your character. As your character, so is your destiny. So now, when you get to know where I live, what I've got in my room, my surrounding, a little bit you get to know about myself, and then you can decide to believe me, what I've said is true, or not true. You should not believe straight away. It's very good to inquire. Thank you. I'm standing on the terrace here, where I live, and why have I decided to come on top first, before I show you the rest? You know, in 1968-69, astronauts circled our planet Earth, and for them the view from the top was marvelous. It widens our horizon, so I thought we have a look from here to where I live. If you look around here, this is a land which belongs to a teacher from the ashram. I like it because there's lots of nature here. Climate is very good here. In India, the average is 21. And something about life. I'm very happy here, but a few weeks ago, a cyclone struck here. The speed was 135 kilometers, and the center was very near to here, 1 kilometer or so. And you can look around here, what it did, devastating my roof, but I will have it quickly repaired, and that's okay for me. And I show you my friend's terrace, because he has a marvelous view, and you can see everywhere around here. You can see the canyon, which is also part of Auroville. When Aurovillians founded this place here, there was nothing here. Can you imagine? No trees, just a few bushes, and now there are large trees, and they have water here. They did a brilliant job. When you look at the dam, you see originally the water, the monsoon water, poured down, and the water went into the sea, which is very near, perhaps 1.5 kilometers from here. And then Aurovilians built a few dams, so the water was kept, was very good. Everything from my mind, or most of the things, they did brilliant things. I would like to show you my former roof. I can use most of it again, so it's very good for me, but I would like to explain something. The word harmony and happiness. A few weeks ago I went to an Indian school and I asked the students to write down on a piece of paper 3 wishes. God, or a very wise person, a very powerful person, would ask them 3 wishes. And then many wrote, I want to be always happy. Now, we cannot always be happy. For example, there's a cyclone, there's a hurricane, and this stops our being in balance, being in harmony. It took me 69 years to find out why harmony, or what harmony is really. In Chinese and in Greek, harmony means the same word. Fascinating? Harmony in Chinese means, has 2 spears, 2 weapons, and then a lamb. First the conflict, and then the lamb. And in Greek language, Harmonia, the goddess Harmonia, she has a father who is the god of war, but her mother is the goddess of love. Again, conflict and then harmony. And I think this is very important to remember for families, within families, for a whole country, and also nation to nation, that we cannot have harmony without a slight conflict. It need not be violent. Incidentally, the word aggression is very positive. In Latin, aggression means to go forward to the other person, to meet the other person, to open up and let's say, look, we have a conflict and we want to solve it right here and now without violence. In Latin, violence means vis, vim, which means power. We can discuss it. The word discuss is very interesting, you know. Discutere in Latin means to shatter to pieces. And debate is also quite violent. The French battre, fight, and debate are related words. Thank you. Welcome, Manohar, you lovely man, helping me now. Come in, please, so we can do the exercises. And I will show you now where I live. Let me start with the right one first, with my favorite Buddha here. I've told you I'm also a Buddhist, and here yes, here is my kitchen, and here you have on top here you have a few Indian goddesses or goddesses, right? So you see how a foreigner lives in India, an expatriate. I love India very much, but I think I love many countries, India, China, Turkey, Thailand, wherever I've been. Yes, so you can see. The windows are small. Why are they small? Because In India the sun is very hot, especially here in the south. Here in the south in May, June, it's really, really hot. Yes, we go along here. And then we come into my living room, where I've given, where I said a few words to you. This is a tanka, Indian painting, again Buddha, you can see. And my family, perhaps you can see my family here on the right. And then again, two gods and one goddess. And perhaps Sri Aurobindo, this extraordinary man here from Pondicherry. And then in this little cupboard here, you have many religions. You have twice the Quran. You have Buddha here. You have Jesus on top. You have the Mother and Sri Aurobindo here. And on the right on top you have Abdul Baha. He was the son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i religion. There are only, I think, 5-6 million Baha'is on this planet. Okay? And now I will prepare for my exercises. It's the following. I've told you already, when I get up, I do my exercises. A friend of mine, Rajesh, an Ayurvedic doctor, told me people in my age, they can't move their neck anymore properly. So I do exercises each morning 120 times. I won't bore you. I won't do it 120 times. I do it a few times. So just you can see if it works. And my eyes should be fixed on here. It's a good exercise also for the eyes. Okay, my next exercise is this one. In order to have healthy hips, I do this. Healthy hips, again 120 times. And I should have contact with my hands, with my hips. And good and deep breathing. Okay, the next exercise is for my back. It's like this. I'm here, breathing deeply. I have told you before, the breath of life, we're all connected through the breath of life, through the divine breath, up. I don't do 120 times, I do about 70 times. And the next one related to it, I get up, breathe in, and again lifting the back here. And so on and on. And the next, a friend of mine, he does massage. He told me some extraordinary thing. It's Goopy, one of the best masseurs perhaps in South India. He lives here in Auroville. It's called the Little Cat. It goes back to an Israeli Feldenkrais. It's a very difficult exercise. It took me a long time to learn it. And in the beginning I did 100 a day, but then I realized I could make 1,000, it has to be deep, and so he told me do only 3. I start in the following way. I go up, lifting up my hand like this. In the beginning I only managed a little bit. 1, 2, 3. And then I have to lift myself to see the heels. You see my hips, 1. 3. And then both together, which is really difficult, slowly as possible. 1, 2, 3, and then lifting the right leg, 1, 2, 3, and now even more difficult, lifting both hands, body and leg. 1, 2, 3. And it's strange, no, it's not really strange perhaps, though I have not eaten for 9 days, I feel quite fit. And then I do it on the right hand side also, but now I won't do it because you have seen left hand side, right hand is okay. And now we go to the terrace and I do my yoga exercises, 5 Tibetans and acupressure in Yogananda. Thank you. Well, we're now on the terrace again. It's the terrace of my friend. The other one is my terrace, Muhsin from Morocco, a very nice man. And I will do the 5 Tibetans now. Since I was 50, I've been doing them for 20 years and I feel very good. I will not say anything, I just do these exercises. I do it every day 21 times, but here a few times just to show you. I think they're one of the best exercises I've ever found and done. First I have to turn 21 times. 2 days ago when I turned 21 times I felt slightly giddy because I haven't eaten for a long time, but it's okay. Yes. Now I won't do it 21 times, just to show you is number 2. Number 3 is my favorite. Back, legs up. And so on, and then I do the following and say a poem by Kalidasa. I tell you, better like this. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all your verities and realities, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of achievement. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes of yesterday a dream of happiness, and of tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. One of my favorite poems by Kalidasa, a Sanskrit poet, around 500 AD. Now, it's a poem for the morning, and since I do my exercises in the morning, it's perfect. But in Hebrew, the day starts in the evening with sunset. Interesting. Also in African cultures, the morning starts what we call the evening. And now it's an exercise which I've changed. Originally, according to the 5 Tibetans, the hands are like this, but I do it like this. Again, 21 times. And then push-ups, I do 11, I do the official Tibetan way, according to the 5 Tibetans, and then the other 11 times I do the Western way. So we see the first one is with your back like this, and the other one is normal push-ups. First, the Tibetan way. And now the Western way. "22, good. That's. I will do acupressure. I do that every day, and I did it and have done it with my students in classroom almost every lesson. Number one, it's fun. Can you imagine the classroom doing this? You get one family. Family in Latin means famulus, to serve each other. Family in Hebrew means to join. And I think in Arabic also to join. Two, when we are tired, you know what we do? Exactly that. We massage the special points here. Three, can you imagine students doing this or grown-ups? I do it with grown-ups also in my courses. It's fun. The louder the better. Then the next. I've heard it's the only spot you cannot operate on the body. Then here, and here, and here, and here, the other ear. The ear is very important in all cultures. The word silent and to listen has the same letters. Listen so that your soul can live, you find in the Old Testament. The ear is the way you find in the Upanishads. Close your eyes and listen you find in the Quran. The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying has a subtitle, Liberation Through Listening. The Benedictines have one word, one order, ausculta, listen. In Madagascar, komesese, the suffix twice, sese means to listen. And the first sense organ to develop in mother's womb is the ear. And the last to die is the ear. Why? Because via the ear we have got contact with the divine. The next exercise is this. Especially here, because sometimes I feel tense here. And since I live alone here, no one can massage me, so I have to do it quite properly. And the other side. And now the legs. Inside out, inside out. Especially here, here, the other one, inside out, inside here, inside here, the other side. And then for the kidneys, very good. If we don't drink enough, they will hurt here. These things will hurt here. Can you imagine that students or young children or children, they are happy doing these exercises? And grown-ups as well. And then I have a book about acupuncture, and they suggest the following. There are two spots we have to press. Here, this one, 2 spots we have to press. This one, on both sides, on this side, so you can see, Manu, you can see, right? This side, I do that 70 times each morning, and then here, on both sides naturally. Good. And the last exercise here on top of the terrace is by Yogananda. It's very short, very simple. I have to stress all parts of my body. Up, up, like this. And then relaxing. 3 times. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then stomach inside. Breathing in and not breathing. Moving the stomach without breathing. Again. And then the same thing as before. Well, now I'm doing the trampoline. I've told you before that if I jump 10 minutes, as I regularly do, it's as if I were jogging 30 minutes, 1, 2, 3. Now I have a watch. I don't want to do more than 10 minutes. And I have always a booklet here. This is etymology, about 1,100, 200 words. I revise every day. I should jump very gently, and I try to move my shoulders so to be flexible, and left, right. I'm reading, for example, hijab. The veil of the Muslims is a shield, a sort of scene between women and the evil in the world. Perhaps for some Arabs the evil are men, otherwise they would not perhaps need this shield. And Muhammad says, God has created nothing more noble than intelligence, and his wrath is on him who despises it. Or one of the most fascinating words I know in Japanese, asobu. Asobu means leisure time, to play. Skole means leisure time, but to use leisure in order to study. Then asobu means to do tea ceremony, to do flower arrangement. And you can say, I've heard your uncle has died, I've heard your uncle has played death. Extraordinary. Asobu, to play, and other meanings. Life, death is a play. It's marvelous, isn't it? And then I try to do this. Again, to be subtle and flexible. And on like that for 10 minutes. when 10 minutes are over, I will stop, and then I feel hungry and have my breakfast of papaya or whatever. Thank you for listening. Thank you.